Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Connecting Greek Show. I am Ari. I'm coming live from DC. With me always is Foti up in Boston. Hey Foti, how are you?
What's going on, my friend?
Pretty good. Everything's good. And over in LA, we have two special guests, but the first special guest is our co-host, Angelo Tsaroukas. Hi, Angelo.
Guys, how you doing? How are you?
Yasu.
Yasu, guys. I'm glad for people watching. You don't know what's going on, but I completely screwed up the scheduling today because of COVID brain. I made everybody's life upside down today, but we're here and we're good. So I just want to say we're connecting Greek. The way it was going, we were going to call this disconnecting Greeks because I don't know what it is. I think we're just, but nonetheless, I'm very excited about our guest today, guys. We have a special guest. She's a friend of mine, and I've had the pleasure to present some awards with her. She is a multi-platinum award-winning recording artist, originally from Australia, and makes her home in Los Angeles. And she's awesome. And if you've heard her music and you've seen her videos, and she's worked with like some of the biggest people in the business. So it's our honor today, guys, to welcome onto the show the very talented and beautiful Vassy.
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 Get her back on. There she is.
There she is.
Vassy.
Oh, what a nice intro. Thank you. That's so sweet.
Thanks, Vassy. No, you listen. Thanks for coming on our show. And, even amidst, you heard my confession about COVID and all that crap. I think we're all dealing with it in different ways. And what I like about you, Vassy, when I met you, and I was telling the guys that, we've presented awards at the LA Greek Film Festival. We had fun with it. And at a time right now, I see my daughter up dancing. And she was watching a video and she was doing something. And then this video comes on, We Are Young. And she's dancing and I heard the singer. So when I looked over, I go, Olivia, what's that? This is We Are Young. I'm dancing to it. And it was your video. Mm-hmm. And I said, I said to her, now this is funny because you got to tell your kids, I said, I said to her, that girl singing, she's a friend of mine. She goes, no, she's not. You don't know her. I go, I do.
You're not cool enough.
It sounds weird. And I go, no, I do know her, honey.
That's so cute.
Wait, Angela, we lost your audio.
Doing Zoom call. So I thought it's great. And I got to tell you, I saw the video a few times. I love it. And, and your other stuff, I mean, it's always flattering, I think, Vassy, when you see something like that happening where you don't expect it. You know what I'm saying? That that people are watching your stuff, and your success has been so great lately. And I know how hard you work, and but people love your stuff. So tell us a little bit about the ride lately. Like I think you were going into something new called Oxygen. Am I right?
Yeah, I just released a new single.
Right. Now, how has COVID affected that? Do you find that, I know for comedy and for acting, they've had to delay movie premieres. We've had to delay comedy shows. How is it in music? Are you able to release stuff now because people are watching it online, or are you going to delay some of it?
No, this whole year has been affected by the, by the virus.
Right.
There's no touring, as you know. So I was booked for a whole bunch of things this year. That's all gone. The touring's not going to pick up till probably summer next year, if we're lucky, if we get things going. But yeah, so that sucked. And then I think what happened was also, then all of a sudden everyone's freaking out because that's all we can do is just release music, right? Because you can still release stuff and be home and be in the studio. So then everyone was just releasing left, right, and center, and it just became a bit of a shit show.
Right.
I actually put out a single in the beginning of the year, and literally just the release date was the date that the governor of California announced the lockdown. So it was just
No shit.
it was bad timing, but it did really well at radio. We peaked at number 2 on the US dance charts across the country.
Wow.
That's awesome.
No, it's good. I mean, my last single last year went 1, and so I was a bit bummed because, you know, I wanted a 1, but I just think the timing was off, obviously. But then I actually, unfortunately, had a really bad injury with my foot, and so I went on the down low there for a long time because I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. I was in a boot, and it was miserable. So I actually fell into some sort of a depression and funk because, you know, my family's in Australia. And I just couldn't move. And so I lost all my inspiration to create. So I just went really quiet. And then I kind of went into a bit of a dark place, actually. And I just felt like I was drowning, like I couldn't breathe. But as a result of it, I created Oxygen. And now Oxygen is out. So it's been kind of a blessing, guys, because I'm actually really proud of this record. And personally, it's one of my favorite records of mine. So yeah, I'm excited. It's just come out. It's doing really well. So I'm happy with that.
But I like what you said, Vassy. It's that you kind of went, like, a lot of people are feeling this way right now, right? A lot of people are feeling we're going, like you said, you went into a dark place. I wake up some days, parts of me don't move. I feel old. I feel young, you know, but what's inspiring is that how you were able to take going into that area, and then, like you said, I couldn't breathe, and then you came up with this thing called Oxygen, switched it right around, and you're happy about your work. And I think that's the motivation for a lot of artists. I think, like, when you look at comedy, Aristophanes coined the phrase comedy is tragedy plus time. That's what I was saying earlier. So sometimes when things are crappy or bad or gone to shit, and then all of a sudden later you look at it, you go, oh, that was kind of funny. So I think the fact that, and I really admire that about you, that even during the COVID, and even, you know, said, going through an injury and stuff, that it inspired you. You probably woke up one night or one morning, and all of a sudden you got this idea for this new album, and you're happy about it.
Yeah, things can, okay, so when you go through a tough time, when something happens in your life that's a difficult period, or just something really bad, say, sometimes it can be a real blessing in disguise. Yeah. And so it's the same philosophy as, like, you know, I always say rejections are redirections. Like, that's always been my philosophy in trying to succeed in this business, because, you know, you get so many rejections. I mean, you're never going to fit the box. Yeah. And so you just take each rejection as a redirection. So it's the same thing. So you know, just a couple months ago, I was, like, so depressed. And I know a lot of us have gone through it this year, for all sorts of reasons. I mean, pandemic being one of the main pinnacle, you know, catalysts. But anyway, so, you know, it's just like, I didn't think this was going to happen, but I was actually on the phone one day with Outgang. So I collaborated with Outgang, and Outgang is actually one of the brothers of Showtek, and Showtek is actually one of the DJs that I worked on with David Guetta with our record Bad, which is actually, right. If you look behind me,
that one right there, right.
And so Bad with David Guetta, you know, went platinum like 17 times around the world. It was a really big record, and so we've always been talking about working on a few more records, and so we were going back and forth and stuff, and I said, man, I'm so down, like, I'm not inspired. I can't think of it. I'm not in the mood. And so I had this concept, and then he actually was like, no, that's what we have to do. I said, it's a little dark. And he goes, that's one. So yeah, so we just kind of, and through that, you know, we collaborated with them and a couple of producers in Germany, and now we have this record. So for me, it's been like a saving grace, you know, having this new baby now to nurture and bring me out of my little funk.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice. Now, I like the way you've added David Guetta is one of the biggest in the planet right now. And I know you collaborated with him, and you've collaborated, like, with Tiesto and all these. I mean, you know, Ari and Forti, I think Vassy's being modest, but she, you know, she's like on that
Level.
scene. And I mean, she's
Yeah.
like skyrocketed with a lot of these things.
Well,
And I think it's the biggest compliment, right? For an artist.
I'm going to give her the biggest compliments because I was putting a little promo together for this episode, and I listened to your music over and over and over, solid for like 3 days, and all I've been doing is singing like the choruses and the whatever I can remember over and over and over. And then my wife, my friends, they're all like, "What are you singing?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Vassy." And most of them heard about you. Whoever didn't, I would play the promos that I was making, and they're like, "Wow, she's so good." And it's like, I was like, "This is like, she's like legit. This isn't like, just
Right.
somebody we're like, or some Greek who we want to like, expose. Like, she's legit. She has a career, and her music is great, like great. And that's from the bottom of my heart."
Thank you. That's
Awesome.
so sweet. That's so nice to hear. I really appreciate that.
Now I have to ask you, Concrete Heart.
Yeah.
How did you know my ex-wife? I don't know how you.
She called me.
Put a song about your ex-wife?
You saw the Connecting Group episode.
You remember when we co-hosted for the LA Greek Film Festival?
Right.
That was so fun.
We had so much. We what we did, guys, with Vassy, we set up a little. I can't remember, but it was perfect. And Vassy was great. We set it up, and she zinged the punchline. So we're gonna do this, and we got a huge laugh. By the way, we got a big. People were like, "Hey, that was great." It's great. Comics just like at these, because those award shows can get real stale.
Yeah, I think it was something about, because I just flew in from Chicago performing for thousands of gays, and now here I'm in front of Greeks, and you made some, I don't remember what you said. So funny.
That's right.
Naughty, it was naughty.
Something politically correct, Angelo, I assume?
Well, but nice. You know what I mean? Because it was like we were together. She said performing, and I can't remember what the speak, and I said speaking of or something. It was really funny. And people, because I said to Vassy, I flew in she literally got in like that morning. I think you came in from Chicago.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we got to do this thing. And those, contrary to what people think, those award shows give you no time. You just sort of, we saw each other, 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of Hollywood people there. And then we gave it. But I know after people came up to me going, "Hey, you and Vassy were great. You guys got really good laugh." And go, she has a good sense of humor, which is good.
You guys gonna get on the road together once COVID's over.
No, we should start just a new company, like, hosting things.
Yeah, it's for hosting. Because the whole
anytime I roll up someone with Angelo, it's good because he does most of the work. Like I can just slide in, like he sets it all.
Yeah. She's like, and Vassy brings that, but that's always. But I think it's always nice when people see from an artist point of view. I think even serious actors or singers or comic, people always like to see a little bit of the other side, right? It rounds out your person as a person, I think, and that's what they like. But I'm going to tell you a funny story, Vassy, and I wonder how much this is affect. I grew up in Ottawa, Canada. And I work with a comedian named Dave Coulier. Now, Dave Coulier was the Uncle Joey, cut it out on Full House. Mm-hmm. If you remember him. Uncle Joey. So we're on the road. This is years later. So I said to him, he goes, "Where'd you grow up?" I go, "I'm from Montreal, but I grew up in Ottawa." And he said to me, "Oh, wow." He goes, "I dated a girl from Ottawa." And I didn't think nothing of it. We were having sushi. And then later on I said, "Was she in the business?" And he goes, "Yeah." So then I thought about it some more. And I thought, was it? And he goes, "Yeah." And I'd met her once before. And he had dated Alanis Morissette. Oh. Now,
that's not a rumor. That's not a rumor that she wrote that line in the song about him.
No, that's a fact. Now I'm going to tell you where I'm going with this. So what happened was I said to him, I go, so he met her at the All-Star game in Montreal. She sang the national anthem, and he was, they hit it off. The mistake he failed to tell her was that he was engaged to a girl in LA and they were seeing each other. So because of that, this little album came out called Jagged Little Pill that made her. And I'm wondering, because I noticed, and the reason I thought was not funny, I just thought, wow, that he was instrumental in what happened in her career. And that happens in a lot of art. You saw it in a Pollock with painting, and you see a lot of lyrics sometimes. And I noticed even in some of your songs, Vassy, how much of it is of a lot of your songs, or when you're writing songs, from personal experiences, because that's what we do, whether it's comedy or songwriting. I think we do a lot of it from personal experiences. Do you find sometimes if it's like maybe something in your past or a relationship or something, why is it that more people resonate to that? Is that a connecting point, you think, for a lot of people?
Yeah, I think because as a lyricist, I write all my songs. I think you to make it authentic, and you got to bring something personal to it. And so all my songs are pretty much from experiences, and you metaphorically interlace some other things in there because you're not going to be so literal. And then I woke up,
right,
and this happened, and then that happened. And you also want to make it as universal as possible for the listeners, but it always comes from a place of truth for me anyway. And so every song is about something. And so I joke around because I always, that story you said, careful dating a singer because you're going to end up in a song.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel, Vassy, that it's easier to get inspiration from pain or from like good places?
This is a good one. I think both. I think sometimes more so from pain, because it's such a strong emotion.
Yeah.
But when you're happy, you're in a good place. And so when you're in a good place, you tend to create, you tend to have a buzz about you. But most of my songs were, there was something going on that was perplexing for me. And so I had to put it in a song somehow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because do you ever listen to Greek music?
Oh yeah.
You want to jump off a bridge. And, it's just like, me pide to skilo, it is so depressing.
Oh my goodness.
And yet it's somehow, it's like, and if I have to explain lyrics to non-Greeks, they're like, is that what the guy's really saying?
Well,
like,
Angela,
You're right, Angela. They make it sound so romantic, and then when you actually, I think I remember watching one of your stand-up comedies on this segment, and you were translating word for word some of these classic, epic, big Greek hits. And watching the translation, people were pissing themselves laughing because it's like, wow, that's. By the end of it, people were like, wow, Greeks are really
depressing people. And it's funny because
you're exaggerating.
And you know how that happened, Vassy. What happened was I had my manager in my car here in LA, and he's not Greek, and we're driving. He goes, I love that song. What's he saying? So I had to explain it to him. And he looked at me like, are you making this shit up? I go, no, that's what he said. And he goes, why are they so depressed? I go, I don't know. And he goes, put on another song. I put on another song, Well,
I was just telling a friend of mine this other day, Greeks are the typical, I was in Greece last year because we couldn't go this year, obviously. And
right.
There was the ferry, I don't know, the boat driver that takes you.
Right.
We get on the ferry, and my boyfriend and I are like, and the guy's like, I'm trying to make conversation. I go, Popo, poli kinisi. And then he's typical Greek, and he's like, poli kinisi, pano kato, pano kato, pano kato. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but good for business, And he goes, deep business, more mezalisa to kefali. And then I go to him, okay, well, δεν πειράζει το χειμώνα, χαλαρά, ησυχία. As in the winter, chill time. He goes,
yeah.
Χειμώνα ρε κρύο.
Never happy. Never happy.
Yeah.
oh, it's a nice day. Look at the sun. Tire, like it's burning.
Oh, man. Classic.
Classic.
That's so true. That is 100% right. It does. You can give him a compliment. Like my friend's father has a restaurant in Montreal, 400-seat restaurant. I go, oh, he pulls me over. There's one table in the corner empty. Kita adio. So he saw the 399 tables were full. The one table, Vassy, that was empty. That's all he saw.
Oh,
And that's the typical Greek mentality, because bless my father's soul, you know. But even back in the day, I'd come back from Tia Ferris. It was like a B plus or Hialpha, or like it was an A, and he goes, or Hi plus. Like,
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Greeks are so like that. I mean, it's just never clear. There's always
the bar is always high for us Greeks.
Yeah.
always, and we're cynical all the time. Yeah, Greeks, and you don't have to say anything. You know, or you don't. You ever take? My mom does this. You eat something in a kaloma.
Angelo, do you think it's like the fear? It's been instilled in me as a kid. Never show that you're completely content or happy, because then that
You can't. You're not Greek if you do that.
Don't tell them that everything's okay. Just what's that gonna do?
Okay. Do you know Malaka? What's okay?
Or I love the Greek. The Greeks in Greece. A lot of the again, this was they have those little flip phones still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He answered the phone. The guy that was taking us to another island. It happened to be another island. He gets on the phone. He goes, little flip phone. Ella. Yeah. Yeah. And they just and it was like there's 4 words, and in that whole time we were laughing. We're like, I wonder what he said. He probably did his tax returns. He probably sold a house. He probably organized next year what's gonna happen.
But Vassy, you just hit the nail on the head. Greeks can say 2-3 words. And that's all they need to say to you. Like, I'll never forget this. I was in I think I was in Crete, and I was going to the little cafe by the hotel, and all I said to the guy was Kalimera, and he goes he turns to me and goes, Ine. Ine. Like, first thing in the morning, Ine. And you say to people, one word means 1,000 words.
Yeah. I love that. It's like that's Greeks for you. Or when your relatives call, every time, I call my auntie, whatever, and it's always the same thing. It's never in America, California's, man, it's an awesome day. So, the weather is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love how it's beautiful, the weather. And so, I don't know, I feel like Greeks are worse than New Yorkers.
Now, Vassy, you grew up you were born in Darwin, Australia.
Yes.
Which is North Tip, which is subtropical weather most of the year round, right?
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I'm one of the few Greeks that has family in Darwin out here.
Oh, really?
My mother's side all went to Darwin because my parents are from a small island in Greece called Kalimnos. And all the Kalinians are in Darwin.
Is all of Kalimnos, basically.
Right?
Yeah, all of Kalimnos is in Darwin. It's like
oh, wow.
Yeah.
You might be related.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we're not from Kalimnos, but pretty much all of the Greek population in Darwin, because we have a huge Greek population in relation to our population, but it's all Kalimni, basically.
Right, exactly. It's like being in Kalimnos all over.
That's awesome.
Isn't that something, right? But and you've traveled around. We've all traveled. Have you noticed, guys? And this is the one thing I picked up on traveling. And whether you're from Australia or America or Canada or South Africa or Germany, when you meet Greeks, the accents can be different, but the actual upbringing is 100% the same.
Yes.
Do you guys you ever notice that? Like, if you, when I've been to Australia many times, because as a matter of fact, couple of years ago, I was in Australia, and they said, you got to go to this place in Oakley, which is the whole Greek area north of Melbourne. And at Kalimera Souvlaki. How good was that, Vassy? And I walk in, guys, and there's Vassy. Boom, right there. I'm like, yo, girl, what are you doing? She goes, I'm here. We were there at the same time.
That's so great.
I think it was great. It was about 4 years ago, I think it was. And we were in Australia, and the food's so good there. Mm-hmm. But I always found that
everywhere.
And I mean, you could, and that's why whether it's Australia or Canada, which I find Australia and Canada has many similarities, the way we were raised in a Commonwealth country. But when you got Greek parents, and that's why I think the experiences for us going to Greece everybody has a story about going to Greece, right? Because it's like we grew up, I'm sure like you, Vassy, and like you guys, we spoke Greek in the house.
Right.
Yes.
But then when we were going to school or going out, we had to integrate, but in the back of your head, and I always laughed. I was on in Amsterdam, they have those little river boat tours. I'm that bored. And I'm on a river boat tour, and there's a Greek couple gets on with their daughter. And I heard the guy go to his wife, Fresta cigara. Ho detto, non mi sa si stati a ti sui pa amore. Pica me para sto plio do canona cigaro ti da scasso do mesa. And I can hear them arguing in Greek. Now the other people don't know what they're saying, but I'm like home again. And I'm just sitting there, and the guy kept looking. I tried not to look and laugh because I can understand everything. The guy looked over, and then I could hear him say to his wife, I didn't say anything.
The best is when you catch the Greek talking about you, and then you say something Greek just to be like, I understood it all.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, but have you noticed that Greeks answer a question with the question?
The question, yeah, 100%.
So you could say anything like and they'll be like, you could be like, in Greece, we would stop at the kafania through the Horia on our way to places just to check out and support all the small kafania and the furna. And we would stop and get something.
They're good.
We'd ask, no one would wear a watch, which I thought was really funny. Like Greek time is literally just no time.
There's no time there, isn't there?
I said, why don't you guys wear watches? I mean, I know, obviously, as Greek, we were late to all the Greek parties as a family. Everyone was late. I mean, that's just Greek time. But he goes, like,
I love that.
Hilarious.
That's the best.
That is hilarious. But it's so true. And it's funny because, like, look now, we call the show Connecting Greeks, and then we find out that Forti has family in your hometown of Darwin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not, I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked.
Well, Forti, my family probably knows them because my brother-in-law is Castellaro. He's from Kazi and his dad's from Kalimnos. So they have a lot of relatives in Darwin.
My family's last name in Darwin is Christofis.
Christofis. Okay.
Christofis.
Yeah.
We're going to get on that now, Forti.
But it's funny because I was watching, I love this guy. He's really funny. Gus from New York. And I like
Gus Constant.
We had Gus.
boy.
We had Gus on.
Yeah, I love him. He's so funny. And I love when he plays his mom.
Yeah.
And I love how his mom and the sister Tula that beats. I just
Tula that beats.
But I was watching one of his segments and I was telling him, oh my God, this is so cute. This is so funny. It's so Greece. You know how it is in Greece for Kalokeri? You go down, it's funny, like people say, so που θα πας, θα πάμε εντάξει, Κέρκυρα, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
Να πάτε σε αυτή την παραλία.
Right.
I know what else.
Anyway, you come back, you get on the ferry, because this is advice coming from the driver, right? I mean, I'm not even like, he just wants to tell you what to do. You get back on the ferry, he goes, and then, as non Greeks from Greece, but we're very like, oh, we want to do stuff. Like we don't want
Right.
to just chill on the beach and have one frappe for 5 hours. Like we want to walk around, want to check this out. So I was telling him, oh, pígame do pera, perpatísimo do pera, pígame katos tolimani, and he's like looking at us like, are you guys for fucking real? And he goes, "Cala por la cara." Cala por la cara, like.
So true. So true.
But let me but Vass, the reality, Vassy, is this. Everybody should go to Greece once in their life. And I tell all of Xeni this. And, you know, I used to be a travel agent many moons before I ever got into entertainment. And, you know, when people go to Greece, they come back, everybody says the same thing. I want to go back to Greece. My wife and daughter, I was supposed to go this year. I was supposed to go to Greece for part vacation and part, I was going to do some shows. But now my daughter said, she was, Daddy, can we go to Greece? And I want to go to Greece. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm like, yeah, Daddy wants to go too. I want to go to Greece. You know, is it just the food, the sun, the people? Like you were just saying,
Everything.
the people make it fun. They're like, oh, so delicati karate. Like, it's like you met the guy for one day, you think you've known him your whole life.
Yeah, I
You
love
can't
it.
get that experience anywhere else in the
I
world.
love it. And
You
there's
don't.
yeah.
It's true, because what Vassy's saying is right. It's like the guy talks to you like he knows you. So ti karate pigate ki fagate ki.
Yeah.
Like the Greeks talk to you like they know you. Here you could I can have a neighbor for 15 years and never say good morning to the guy.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy, but that's and you know they love when you go to Greece and you speak Greek, especially us who spoke Greek at home growing up and
Right.
pretty fluent. So you roll out with your Greek and they're so proud and they love it. They're like, bravo.
They really do.
You know,
You guys,
like, you know.
you guys
But I
mentioned.
think sorry, Barry.
I'm going to tell you a very quick story, but you guys mentioned before that no matter what, no matter where they're from, you know how you meet a Greek and you know like exactly what they're about. They're probably exactly like you. And my quick story is, I had a friend of mine who we came down to DC for the first time, and she had a friend who was like literally out in the sticks. I mean, this is like rural, just tractors and like pickup trucks. And it's like, my friend lives down there. We're going to go meet him. And I was like, oh man, like what kind of dude is this going to be? Like, he's going to be in like overalls with a tractor or whatever. And we pull up and it's like out in the middle of nowhere with haystacks and whatnot. And we're sitting there waiting for him to show up. And we see this like fat BMW roll up, hair slicked back, ripped jeans, Armani shirt. I'm like, what is this guy doing? It's like, I was like, he's exactly like all my friends like from the city, but he's out in the middle of nowhere and he's exactly the same style, the same jokes, the same like mentality.
Greek.
Everything's the same. And I was
Can't
like,
take
that's
the
amazing.
Greek out of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, it's so funny how we have such a strong culture, I think. A strong culture of like how we're brought up. And how we,
Starts from the home, as they say, right? Up to spiti.
And you know what? It's amazing. And the nice thing, you brought up Gus earlier also, Vassy. It's nice. Like we've been able to contact with different people. I think the advantage also being in LA is that, you know, I've been friends with Vassy now for a few years, and you get to meet different people. And it's nice to know that most of the people that I've reached out to, regardless of what type of profession they're doing, all have been gracious and don't mind coming. They know we're just shooting the shit about connecting Greeks, and they're all, and it makes me happy to see that. It's nice to see that this generation's kind of like, yeah, you know, I mean, we're doing the thing. I mean, you're working with Tiesto and all these things, but you're still that person who you are, which is, it's very honorable, and I think it's great. And I, at the end of the day, people admire that about people, you know, that you're this Greek Australian girl who's got this amazing singing career. You got the new album coming out that you came up with, and that's a triumph for Greeks. I honestly think, and I'll say this for Greeks, I know it sounds a bit biased, but it's true. Because of what our parents had to go through, I think that's instilled in us. Most of the Greeks that I know aren't scared to take a chance. I know Vassy wouldn't be where she wasn't right now if she didn't leave Darwin and eventually come to America. And even for myself, leaving Canada. And I think it's inherent from our parents. I mean, think about it. These
It's an
people are from
an emotional strength, an emotional intelligence
that comes in.
Yeah.
People from Kalimnos ended up in Darwin. People from Daphne, Laconia ended up in Montreal. I mean, think about the displacement of people around the planet, yet we're all coming down together now, which I admire that. And even, we'll be, if we go to these, one year you guys got to come. LA Greek Film Festival is great. You got people
We're coming.
Right, everywhere. You got actors, comedians, singers, all filmmakers from Greece.
Yeah.
Is Gus going to be there?
Well, yeah.
Sorry, Vassy, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think I agree with what you're saying, and I think it does stem from the sacrifice that our parents made for us, and also their foundation. For their generation, it was tough, and there was lots of poverty, and they didn't have the opportunities that they have given us. So I think there's a sense of I don't want to say the word obligation, but my father died 20 years ago, and I made him a promise, even though he never wanted me to do music, and I have a degree in architecture. But my promise to him was that I would finish my degree, and then I got his blessings to do music. But if I was to do music, na prokopso, opus me na prokopsis. So unfortunately, my father never got to see me sing or hear me sing or any of that. My career started after my dad passed away, but. So I have that in me. Like, my father worked so hard. Oh my God, I am not about to just waste all his hard work. I have to somehow leave a legacy behind in honor of my father's hard work. And I think, a lot of groups have that. And I love that we were just talking about Gus, but we really want to support one another. And so, for example, Thanasi, who has, excuse me, I'm Greek, who supports me, has supported you. I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah, great guy. Good guy, Thanasi.
Yeah, he shout outs to everyone. He's actually
super nice guy,
some new shirt with definitely I'm Greek thing, which I love. But super supportive, embraces everyone. And then you've got like Dina Romeos, who supports
awesome girl.
We were just texting today because she got me on Cameo, and she's trying to get all the Greeks on Cameo. So I think this is great. We've got to stick together. And sometimes I think the pandemic has kind of been a little bit of a blessing in disguise for us in a way, because before the pandemic, we were all running around, going to all these events, just kind of caught up. And I think through this period, this hard time, it's actually brought a lot of people closer and made us kind of take a minute to pause, reflect, and think about other ways to connect. So connecting even like this is so meaningful than, being on a red carpet and having 10 minutes to do a quick exchange, even though it's fun, right? But it's just, I don't know, this is cool. It's so laid back. Like, I'm enjoying a big part of that.
Well, you have to think also, like, technology has moved so fast lately that it made our lives so like crazy and hectic, and everybody's busy, and there's so much going on. It's almost like the pandemic like hit a reset button and just like stopped everything and just said, all right, let's just kind of find our priorities again. We're all stuck in a situation. Let's get back to the basics and kind of move on from there. I mean, the technology is still there, and that's helping us do stuff like this, but it's also like, stop moving so fast, stop and smell the roses sometimes.
And Angela still gets to have his cigar.
See, where can you do an interview and smoke a nice Cohiba?
I love that your location's on your balcony, so you can, keep having your cigar.
Unless you
come out the balcony,
unless you
have a cigar. I'm going to tell you a funny story. It was a premiere at the Egyptian Theater, and Vassy was on the red carpet ahead of me. And she was just on that side, so she was going there talking to her. So I came on right after, because they take you, they have the cards. They were taking her, and the guy goes, "Oh my God, that's great, that's Vassy." Yeah, they go, "So Ange, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm unemployed." And the guy starts laughing. "No, really, what are you doing?" Going, "No, really, I'm unemployed. I'm not working." And they thought I was doing a bit. And remember, I told you after Vassy, what did the guy say to you? I kept telling him I was unemployed. They thought, "Oh my God, Saruka, you're so funny. You're making." I go, "No, I'm really unemployed. I had no gigs that month." And it's amazing how, when you say it in a way, even if you're being honest or truthful, they're going to look at you like, oh, yeah, come on, you're unemployed. But really, that month I had no gigs. And then I said to the guys, I go, if I had a job, I wouldn't be here. You know, that's why I'm here, because you guys have food and some booze. So I'm going to go there. But no.
Is there, I wanted to ask Vassy, like, how did you, when and how, what inspired you to get into singing? Because you were talking about your dad and how he wanted you to get your degree, but you had a passion for singing. What was it that kind of clicked in you that said, this is what I'm going to do? And when was that?
I knew from a really young age, and I don't know why I had this calling, because I wasn't exposed to music at all.
But, I mean, you have a great voice, so I mean, that's probably like a nice start, right?
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, I think my voice is very unique, and so like even when I was in school choir, I got kicked out of school choir because I was told I didn't have what it took.
Oh God, I love go back to that choir director and just like shove your million view video down his throat.
I know. Well, funny enough, I actually got a formal apology from the school years later, because my career started in Australia, and so when my first song broke on national radio across the country, you know, it broke out because I'm from a small town, so it's like I've been in the newspaper like a zillion times, and then my school found out, and because that became part of my story. I was telling the truth. I said I got kicked out of school choir, and I was told I wasn't good enough, basically. And so, but now I know instinctively at that age, I think what was happening was I was an artist. Like I was doing my own thing. I wasn't following around. So yeah, so anyway, so it started from there, but I just had this calling, and like I said, I was never exposed to it. So it really, music chose me. I wish I didn't have such a strong thing for it, because I actually would have liked to have done something a bit more. To be honest, I would have loved to have done medicine or, you know, law, or because it's the music business. Like if my kid ever asked me, hey mom, I want to do music, I'll be like, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Body. But it's because it's a tough business. It's not for everyone. I mean, you've got to have talent, perseverance.
You have to have a thick skin.
Yeah, no, she's right. Yeah.
You know, you get exploited a lot when you don't know enough about things in the beginning. When you move to a country, you don't know anyone. It could be a really tough, slimy business. Yeah. So you've got to, you know, I don't know, you just got to really put the work in, and then you sacrifice time away from your family. So, but this was my calling. So, I mean, I even got my degree in architecture, and yet I still wanted to do music. So
that's
I got
impressive. That's impressive.
So anyway, so this is kind of what I know, but we'll see what happens.
You know,
that's awesome.
You deserve all your success. Like you really, really do, because you put in the work, you put in the sacrifice. You're dealing with a business that's very difficult, that's very harsh. Yeah. And you know, once you get to this point, it's like you deserve it. You deserve every single ounce of your success.
Thank you so much. And it's a boys' club too. It's very male driven, especially my genre, because dance. It's very DJ driven. So to be a girl and non-DJ and a Greek chick from Darwin.
Oh, you've done great. I mean, you look at you.
Okay. If I don't accomplish anything else, then even that, not to say that you can't, but it's very tough doing it. But I like that I've done it, because I want to show other kids that you can, you know, you can believe and achieve. So just believe it, and then you'll manifest it.
What do they say? Believe it, dream it, achieve it.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Look. I aspired to be a Pilates instructor, but I ended up telling jokes.
You didn't believe hard enough.
Inside me, there's a thin person that wants to do Pilates.
The Pilates thing. You wouldn't have the patience for it.
By the way, Pilates is Greek. Comes from the Greek word.
From a Greek word.
Piloto.
Piloto. Pilati is from the Greek word piato. We put the Greek food on the piatto from the Pilati.
I love being Greek.
Or you remember when Gus does his, in my village, we didn't have, you know, whatever. But I laugh because he does this segment where he plays his mom and he does the light switch. He goes, who turned off? No, who put on the light? Like you say switch off, but Greeks always say turn off.
on. Yeah.
What do you think? This is Con Edison? And and I remember my father used to do this all the time.
Yeah?
He's just like, tigre do pero, hola ta foto,
Anixta.
Like he's be on our face. But we watch like TV after school. He'd come in, we get the dirty looks like, really? I'm busting my ass off out there and you guys are sitting here like, go to your rooms and study. And well, then
That hilarious.
What she's saying right now is so funny because I find myself at home walking around turning the lights off.
Yeah, of course.
How about the thermostat? Do you turn down the thermostat?
And my wife's like, what are you doing? She's like, it's so dark in here. I'm like, well, why do we have all these lights on if we're not using the rooms?
Hey.
There was also a time there was a thing in Boston called Walk for Hunger, where you walk 20 miles and you collect money for food banks. I remember a friend of mine who's like literally a millionaire, and his dad dropped him off, and his dad's like, what are you guys doing exactly? And they're like, per patame jafti pupinane. And he's like, que go pupinao pio sametayesi. You're a millionaire, dude.
That's so
right?
Fun.
It's classic.
That sounds so
it's classic Greek. I love it.
Well, that's great. Well, look, Vassy, before we let you go, we have this little thing we do with every guest on the show where we ask you a couple of questions about certain things about Greeks, likes and dislikes. But before we let you go, for everybody watching today, where can they find you on social media and to let us know when Oxygen's going to be dropping and all that stuff? So where do people find you? Where can we, for new people who are going to be more interested in what you're doing?
I'm Vassy everywhere. So if you go to Instagram, I'm Vassy.
Okay.
I'm just Vassy, V-A-S-S-Y. It's all
so V-A-S-S-Y. You're smart. You made it easy.
Yeah,
that's good.
In my research, doing all the stuff for the show, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. Vassy everywhere.
That's good. So
we'll also link to it through all the podcasts, the videos, everything. We'll link to your website as well.
So much, yeah. And I would love for people to, go to Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple, wherever it is you stream music, and check out my new single Oxygen and just download it or add it to your, playlist, your workout playlist.
Gonna do it.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
That would mean a lot if people do that. So I'd appreciate
That's awesome. So
you're literally the first artist that I've ever suggested to my wife that she liked.
Oh, yeah.
In 10 years, I told her about music, and she's like, nah. I played your song, and she was like, this is good. And I was like, finally.
Right. I always say happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
God, that's true.
So Forti, we're gonna hand it over to Forti now. We'll do the thing with you now, Vassy.
All right, Vassy. Here's the fun stuff that we always like to hear about. So tell us, Vassy, your favorite and least favorite Greek food.
My favorite is τις μάνας μου τις ντορμάδες.
Oh yeah.
Not vegetarian, with the actual kima.
Those are good. Yeah.
Important. These manas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my least favorite would be patsa.
Oh.
Agreed. Cow gut soup. I hate it.
That's our first dislike.
I freaking hate that shit. I don't like it either.
My God, vomit.
Who really likes that?
I can't eat it. Anyway.
Well, depends how intoxicated you are.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Patsadika, right? Excellent. All right, Vassy. We have a couple more questions. So we never got where your roots are from Greece. Where are your parents from in Greece?
My dad in Kozani and in Manamu from Grevena.
Oh,
okay.
Excellent. So since you've told us that you've been to Greece and you visit, if you were to choose one place in Greece that you would actually just spend the rest of your life, where would it be?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm very in love with the Mani region.
Ooh.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So having like a big house right on one of the cliffs off the coast there.
Or those castles they have in Mani, those castles and stuff are
Somewhere
nice.
like near Areopoli or Limeni, or that area is beautiful, I think. But
Okay.
I mean, all the islands, but that because it's still mainland and you can get to Athens quicker. And
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
One last question that we're adding. This will be the first time we ask this question, but being a Greek American, Greek Canadian, I'm sure Greek Australian, as kids growing up, it seemed like our family members, our parents, our aunts and uncles were affiliated to a Greek soccer team as if it was politics. Was there a soccer team that you were forced to support because of your family that maybe you can tell us about?
oh yeah, we used to watch the soccer, and I forget because I'm terrible, but not
Color scheme maybe might help you.
It's not
of the team?
Basok. Is it?
Well,
Oh.
Panathinaikos.
Political.
Yeah,
Green.
no,
They're green.
Panathinaikos.
Panathinaikos. Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay,
That's who I was forced to watch as well as a kid growing up.
Could I tell you a very quick story because of what Vassy just said? Vassy was confused on the name. I never was big with Greek soccer. And I remember we went to a Greek night at a club, and the bouncer, who was Greek, was asking everybody before he let them in, Piao Mada, you say. And I'm like, and everybody's saying stuff. And I was like, I have no idea about Greek soccer teams. So I'm trying to listen to the guy in front of me. So the guy in front of me said Panathinaikos, but I couldn't hear him very well. So I get to the front of the line. He's like, Piao Mada, you say. And I was like, Parthenas. And he looked at me, he's like, Bernasi. So I'm like, what happened? My friends were laughing.
So
like,
the Virgin Greek Soccer Club.
Well, hang on, because Basok and Kappa Kappae are political.
Yes.
Yes.
I know that's a whole different. Yeah, that's not
they might play soccer too. You never know.
But it was, I think, a part of our upbringing, whether we were in the U.S., Canada, or Australia, that as kids, I remember like our parents would give us these. Well, my dad or my uncles would give us the soccer shirts to wear as kids, and then other kids would wear different shirts, and it was like we had no idea why we were supporting these teams.
right.
Well, that's great. Well, look,
Thank you.
Vassy, that was great. 40 is great. Vassy, on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you for being our guest today. You were wonderful. You're delightful. We wish you continued success with what you're doing. I hope to run into you at an event soon when everything blows over. And thank you so much for coming on the show with us today. We're really honored to have you on.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
Yeah, and once the pandemic kind of subsides, if you are ever coming to the Boston or DC region, let us know. Or if you want to come to the Boston or DC region, let us know, because we do a lot of promotional stuff. So we would love to have you. I mean,
Sure. I've not had a gig all year, so book away.
We're gonna bring you and Angelo. And
sure, let's do it together.
Yeah, fly us out. We'll come and host a show.
We're there, man.
We just put our masks on, Angelo.
We'll put the masks on, away we go. Exactly.
It'll be so great. A true talent, Vassy. A true talent you are.
Oh, thank you, guys. That's so sweet. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
And we appreciate your time, and thank you for being on the show. We want to thank everybody for watching. We want to thank everybody for listening. We're going to have all of Vassy's information on the podcast, on the video. I want to thank Foti, as always. Angelo, I love you, man. Even though you screwed up everything today.
I screwed up everything today.
We still love you. And we'll see everybody next time. And again, a special thank you to the incredibly talented. Check out her music, check out her videos, check out everything you can. Vassy, you're going to hear a lot about her. And I'm telling you, I do not have any luck suggesting music until I met Vassy. So thank you, Vassy, for that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Vass. Bye, guys. Good luck.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.